Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast. I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2021. The album, Dad AF. Rock on, gold dust woman. It's a microwave, I was gonna say. It's not a microwave. It's a microphone, get it? Woman. Okay. Wow. All right, let's get into this video. I'm in such a great mood today. I just got home a little bit ago from going to Spirit Halloween, which is a huge Halloween store in Indianapolis. I don't know, it might be a national, international chain. I have no idea. But I bought so much stuff, and I'm going to do a huge haul over my review channel, so you're going to want to go check out my review channel and see everything Halloween-y. Is that a word? Halloweener! Oh my god, happy Halloweener! Everything Halloweener that I bought for Halloweener, on my review channel. But I want to get into this video, and today I want to talk about Jaclyn Hill's return to YouTube. I watched it last night. And I don't know, my opinion's kind of changed a lot in the last 18 hours or whatever since I've watched it. So I want to talk about that in a little bit. And before I was getting ready to make this video, you know, often I'll like sit there and it'll just kind of be in my head and I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I might want to say this, I might want to say that and whatever. And I thought of something that I wanted to include at the very end of this video. And I don't know why I thought of this. But this video is going to get real emotional at the end. I'm just going to tell you, for me, at least. It might for you, too. I don't know. But before I get into the Jaclyn Hill business at hand, okay, I want to give a few shout-outs. So let me get right on this. Hold on a second. First of all, happy belated birthday to Cassie. Cassie sent me a message, and she let me know that October 12th was her birthday. So, happy belated birthday, Cassie. I'm sorry that I missed your birthday. I would also like to give a happy birthday to Sierra. Happy birthday, Sierra! It's your birthday! And then I also want to give a happy birthday shout out to Haley, whose boyfriend reached out to me, and I filmed a little video, and I sent it to her, and she made a video of her watching it, and I shouted at her dog, too. And so she put that on the Twitter. That was real sweet. And then I also want to give a shout out to Natalie from Australia. Natalie's birthday is today, and she comments on my videos a lot. She watches my videos, and I really, really appreciate it. So, happy birthday, Natalie. Happy birthday to all of you. I hope you guys are having the most fantastic day. Okay, let's get into this Jaclyn Hill video, right? So, everybody last night, I put on Twitter after I watched it, and then all these people were like, spill it, like I had some huge tea, okay? When do I ever spill some real hot tea on the Twitter? I don't. And I don't ever call in sick with the tweets, because if you do, nobody will believe it anyway, right? I always kind of save my stuff for the videos, but I was just kind of like, I didn't really know what to think. In fact, I watched, 30 minutes of Jaclyn Hill. Well, I will say I watched it on 2x speed, so that was probably part of it, but it was like, I was like, I am so confused by this video. Is this a Peter Monn video? Because it is all over the place. That is the first thing I thought when I was watching it. And, okay, here's the thing. I'm just going to get this out of the way. We can just talk about it right now. Jaclyn continues to address her weight over and over and over and over and over again, okay? And I want to say this. I think there are a lot of criticisms that we can talk about with Jaclyn. If you want to talk about the lipsticks, I think that that's fair. If you want to talk about the business aspects of her being the CEO of that company, that's fair. I am not going to pick Jaclyn apart bit by bit by bit. I don't believe that she deserves that. She's a human being. She even said in the video that it's a lot. She went in there and she explained it. And, even though she's sitting in this house that overlooks the mountains and the valley, and she's got this, Givenchy shirt on and her diamond Rolex and all this kind of stuff, you have to realize that in her world, that is her reality. And I know that sometimes it's probably hard for us and we want to cast judgment and all this kind of stuff, But I was thinking about this because she does kind of come out in the video and she says at the end of it something about, like, I miss the old days of YouTube and I miss the old days of social media and stuff. And the really sad thing about this is, okay, and I really wish that Jaclyn would get this. And one of the things that I have said from the very, very beginning of Lipstickgate, or whatever you want to call it, is that this is an opportunity for growth for Jaclyn. This is a moment for her to look at her life and see, and it goes so far past just the screw up of this lipstick, okay? I think that's what she doesn't understand. It's in how she handles situations. It's about the fact that, you know, thousands of her fans tweet at her a day, and she chooses to pick the negative comment. She did it last night. I saw it last night on Twitter. She picks the one negative comment to address, right? It's that over and over and over again, instead of actually sitting back and looking and going, this is an opportunity for change. This is an opportunity for growth, that I can become a different person as a result of all this, right? And I say this on my videos a lot. Listen, okay? I am nobody that, you know, is perfect. I am far from perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I have made millions and millions of mistakes in my life. I will continue to make mistakes. But the one thing that I am trying to do differently, and I really have focused on in the last year, is that when I am presented with something where I fall on my face, you know, as I am pulling myself back up, is to look at that moment and say, this is an opportunity for growth, to inventory what happened, to see my part in it, to stop focusing blame on everybody else, okay? And this is what I would say to Jaclyn if I was sitting across from her. I'd say, gal, listen, okay? You still want to point the finger at everybody else and what everybody else is doing, and people are making these mean comments, and people this. Look, people are going to be people, okay? You cannot change what people are going to do, okay? People are going to be hurtful. Hurt people, okay? We know that, right? So focus on the positive. And I just wish that she would get that, because I was thinking about this last night when she was talking about the old days of YouTube and stuff, and I thought, you know, really up until the lipsticks, Jaclyn, and she referenced her social blade last night. I mean, let's be for real, okay? Jaclyn has started to lose subscribers because of the lipstick situation. Manny MUA got called a social climber and literally lost 500,000 subscribers, if not more. Okay, Jaclyn hasn't lost anywhere near that, all right, for having a bad situation happen with a business that she started, okay? Like, you want to talk about the fairness of social media? Like, let's just pull that into check for a second, okay? But prior to the lipstick situation, Jaclyn really had the majority of people on her side. You know, when I go back and I look at the divorce that happened with her and John, like, people were so fantastic through that whole situation. People were so kind and so nice to her, you know? And I think sometimes we often, all of us, I think, you know, have a skewed look at the way that the world is and was and things like that. And we only romance the really good times instead of really looking at the whole overall reality of the situation. And I kind of wish that she would do that. You know, I understand that she had to move. Like, I'm not going to sit here and get on video and be like, oh, sob story, you had to move because of your roof. Listen, roofs collapsed. What was she supposed to do, okay? I can't even imagine, right? Like, put that to any of us. I don't care what kind of $10 million home, $1 million home, you know, $60,000 home, apartment, whatever we live in, okay, tenement housing, that if your roof collapsed, you'd be in panic mode, period, end of story. So in her reality, like, that's got to be a really hard thing. The difference is not many of us have the option to move to LA into a house that looks over the mountains. So I think that sometimes her presentation is hard for people because now people are nitpicking her, right? And so they look at that and they think, well, yeah, sure, Jaclyn, but you come across as entitled, you come across as this, you come across as that. And then on top of that, you know, it's like there aren't any negative comments underneath her video. I went on her Instagram picture. She posted this picture of her and her dog yesterday. There literally are no negative comments under the picture. I mean, none whatsoever, okay? So whoever's going in there and doing that, they're letting Jaclyn live in this distorted world where she doesn't see any negativity whatsoever. And maybe that's healthy. I don't know. But I think maybe it would be healthier for Jaclyn if she just realized there are going to be people out there that are not real nice. And that's just the reality. And let's talk about how it affects us. Let's not talk about fixing other people. You know, I've talked about this recently in a lot of my videos, but I talk about it a lot on my Peterisms channel, where I read meditations over there, and I talk a lot about it on my vlog. One of the real lessons that I have learned in the last year or two since being on YouTube is, I can point my finger at a bunch of other people. I can say, let me tell you about this person. I can say, listen, let me tell you what happened here. And let me tell you what this person did to me. And this isn't just about YouTube. This is about my life in general, going back 20 or 30 years, right? And I can blame that person, and they can blame that person, and they can blame that person. But at some point, we have to stop blaming each other, you know? And I have to get over here in my lane and focus on myself. And if I'm pointing the finger at somebody else, no matter who, there's always three fingers pointing back. Yes, that's true. But at the same time, I'm not focusing on myself. I'm not working on myself and what I could be changing with me, inside of me. So, because I'm too worried about fixing them and changing them, and let me preach a moment to you, instead of taking a look at what can I learn from this situation, you know? And to be honest with you, when I look at this situation with Jaclyn, as I'm watching it, I'm also thinking to myself, what could I learn by what she's going through? What could I learn by what Jaclyn has gone through and apply it to my life? You know, and in that way, I know this is going to sound strange, but then Jaclyn Hill is a teacher to me, right? Because I can look at what she's gone through and I can say, okay, well, I don't want to, you know, have to go through these same situations, and I don't, you know, want to do this, and I don't love the fact that she points out the negative and not the positive, and so I'm going to point out the positive a little bit more, you know? Shout out a few birthdays, make somebody's day happy, you know what I mean? Instead of it always being about me, 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 because that's not a great look, you know? I think it's going to be a long time before people forget about the lipsticks with Jaclyn. She went into this thing, and she talked about doing campaign photos, okay? And I was like, okay, here we go. This is what people are, you're literally 2 minutes into the video, and you're talking about campaign pictures. People are gonna really have a hard time with this, if they pick it up at all, because she talked about it that quick, right? They're gonna be like, campaign photos for what? You're doing a photo shoot for what? Your next release of what? Morphe products or your own products? I have to believe it's a Morphe product, okay? Because she just said that she's gonna endorse Morphe forever. She just came out on Twitter and she said that, and whatever. She can do whatever she wants to do. But I don't know, like, this is the thing that people have a problem with Jaclyn, that I don't think that she understands, is that she comes out and she says something like in her video, like, I need to just get back to doing tutorials and reviews. And then she gets in this video and she talks about, she's coming out like new products in a photo shoot, and the old Jaclyn is forever evolving, which I totally grant that. I think that that's true, you know, and she says that in there because people are always like, I want the old Jaclyn, I want the old Jaclyn, and she's like, you know, says something about the fact that even though people like want her to do reviews and tutorials, she's not going to do that forever. Didn't you just say that you were the one that was going to come back and do that? This is what is confusing to your audience, and you have every right to change. Get in a video and say, my mind changes every second. My mind changes every second. My opinion can change from one moment to the next. I'm a human being, okay? I can talk to one person and have one opinion, and literally 5 minutes later talk to somebody else and go, oh, I had never seen it that way, right? I have a right to do that as a human being, and so does Jaclyn Hill. The problem is she stands behind this like idea that she never like has said anything different, so then people are like, well, we're confused. Were you gonna come back and do the reviews and the tutorials, or were you not? And then she gets upset because people criticize her, and what she goes to is she says, everybody's coming for my weight. Well, there are a few people that are coming for your weight, and I think that is some cruel SHI toot, okay? I really, really do. As somebody that has suffered my entire life with my weight, as somebody that has been bullied my entire life, okay? You know, like, I understand how hard that is, but I also think that you could turn that into a fantastic video. You could turn that into, because she's sitting there, and I actually thought people were making fun of it, but I actually thought her showing her stretch mark was such a poignant moment in the video. It really, to me, was one of the realest moments I've ever seen of Jaclyn Hill. Honest to God, it was. I was like, all right, girl, okay, I can get with this, right? But for her to get on video and talk about how, you know, doing makeup makes her feel better about herself when she's down on herself, or doing looks, or being inspired, or whatever, I think that's the Jaclyn that people miss. They miss that relatable Jaclyn. I don't think she gets that, okay? They're not saying they miss Jaclyn Hill, the human being, okay? They look at this Jaclyn with this Givenchy shirt on, sitting in a house overlooking Los Angeles with her diamond Rolex, talking about how hard her life is, and people are like, I don't relate to this. And she doesn't understand that. Like, I think she misses that, right? I think that old Jaclyn that people want is still there. I think that lovable Jaclyn that people want is still there. I took some notes, so should we get into my notes and see? Now, these were probably not super nice last night, 12 hours ago. I said something about a campaign. And then, okay, I talked about the same thing that Jaclyn wanting the reviews. And then, you know, okay, talking about her, she said something about people being mean and ruthless, you know? Well, people are going to be mean and ruthless out there. There are mean and ruthless people. There are people that hide behind pictures that have nothing to do with them on social media and leave the most scathing remarks in the entire world. One of the things, the comments that I get on a lot of my videos, you know, across the board, on my review videos, on my vlog, on this channel or whatever, is that I have some of the kindest comment sections ever. Like, and I don't know what that's about. I really don't. But like on my vlog, somebody will comment and they'll say, I'm having a really hard day today. And 6 people will respond to them and say, hey, hang in there. I hope you're having a better day. Hey, I hope tomorrow is better, whatever. So there are places on the internet, okay, and not just mine. I have to believe those are other places as well, where people are being kind to one another, okay? I do think there are kind and good people out there. I have to believe that. But I also think that if we look for the negative, we're going to find the negative. If we look for the mean and ruthless, we're going to find the mean and the ruthless. And I really wish that Jaclyn would pull it back. This is a moment, I think, for gratitude, you know? And that was, okay, when she was talking about being in the shower, and she's like, I'm living my best life. I'm so happy right now. Like, I think, don't we all want that for her? Like, we want her to be accountable for the business actions. And I think this is the thing that's hard for me, right? Like, I knew that she wasn't going to come out in the video and talk about the lipsticks. I just knew it. We're past that. She's not addressing the lipsticks. We're not going to hear about the lipsticks anymore. So if you're holding on to Jaclyn Hill talking about the lipsticks, you might as well just move on, because those days are over. She's not going to talk about the lipsticks, okay? But for me, if I were a huge Jaclyn fan, and I'm not telling anybody what to do, I would have a hard time with the fact that she never fully addressed it, okay? But I think that we all want Jaclyn, and anybody out there, why would we not want somebody happy, singing at the top of their lungs in a shower, being excited? I mean, wouldn't we all want that for somebody? Wouldn't we want it for ourselves, anybody? You know, I can even think about the people out there that I don't necessarily get along with. I wish them happiness. Why would I want them to be happy? Why wouldn't I want them to be happy? You know, and more happiness in the world, the more happiness that goes around, then we're all happier, you know? So I don't know. I just don't think that you know, it's necessarily all about the ruthless and the mean, you know, but I do think the takeaway from this whole thing was, you know, she focused so much. I put on here that I understand that she doesn't want new people to go through this, but her lifestyle has afforded her, you know, this whole idea. And so when she's on there and she's talking about, like, I miss the old YouTube and I miss the old that, okay? Well, those days are gone, and the ability to live in the house that you live in, and the ability to move your entire family, to fly them back and forth for business meetings and to have all these opportunities, the cruelty kind of goes along with that. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay. But it's part of what goes on. And she references the Kardashians in there. And you know, one of the things that's interesting to me is there's actually an episode, and I don't watch the Kardashians, but my husband does. So when I'm cleaning the kitchen and stuff like that, I'll kind of like sit there for a second and watch it. And there was an episode when they talked, this is not too long ago either, probably, I don't know, 5, 6 episodes ago, where they talked specifically about not addressing negativity online, you know? And I'm thinking, okay, so obviously if you reference the Kardashians are somebody that are on your radar, right? Well, maybe take a cue from how they address things. They don't address things. They don't come out and talk about all this kind of stuff. And I don't think that she deserves any scrutiny from these personal things. I don't. I think it's cruel, right? But I think that there are moments where we can turn whatever we're going through, you know, into something positive, and to say, hey, you know, do we all relate to this? Do you relate to this? Not to tell us how we feel, but to say, do we all relate to this? And as I was sitting there, you know, I was thinking to myself, there's a lot of takeaway from this video that is actually really, really good, that I wish that she could get down on video and you know, and I think people love her giggly self, so that is what it is, you know, but I wish that she could get on video and very seriously address some things that go on in her life, and just like the weight thing keeps on coming up, talk about it. Talk about how hard that struggle is for you instead of just making fun of it. I know that in my deepest, darkest pain about my weight, you know, when I'm standing in front of the mirror and I don't really like myself very well, it's not a laughable moment for me. It just really isn't, you know? And I know that I had a friend of mine recently that I was talking about my weight, and you know, she said to me, every time you talk about your weight, because I'm so much heavier, you make me feel like grotesque. And she was like, you know, I wish that you would be grateful for the size that you are instead of always constantly complaining about it, you know? And I think that we each have our own journeys with our bodies and our body image. What a universal topic to talk about. Jaclyn has that platform, you know? And I really wish going forward, if she doesn't want to do the makeup reviews and she doesn't want to do the tutorials, that's totally fine, right? Okay, but that would be such a great story for her to tell. And I really wish that she would, because it's so obvious that she's struggling with it. And I really feel for her. I really, really do, you know? And I really, there was one line that I really liked, and she said, whether I'm depressed or whether I'm happy, I'm gaining weight, or something like that. And I thought, ain't that the truth? I mean, I've been there, right? Like, where I'm the happiest in my life and I'm heavy, and I'm the saddest I've been in my life and I'm heavy, because I'm an emotional eater. And, you know, and it's taken me a long time to realize that on top of many other addictions that I've gotten sober for, I also have a food addiction. So, you know, there's a lot in this video to take away from. Jaclyn's whole idea of how the world is, though, is very, very skewed. And, you know, it was making me, I don't know why, but as I was sitting there, I was thinking to myself as, you know, a kid that grew up and I never fit in and I never felt like I belonged. And, you know, I was thinking, I think that one of the reasons why the people that like my videos relate to me is because I'm just a normal weirdo like everybody else. And I think that a lot of us have gone through that where we haven't necessarily fit in and we didn't necessarily feel like people were nice to us on a regular basis. And I think a lot of people relate to that on my channel. And for some reason, I don't know why, I thought of Darlene's poem from Roseanne. And I grew up watching Roseanne. And there was an episode when she had to write a poem for school and she didn't want to write it, and her mom, Roseanne, made her write it and read it out loud. And if you've ever seen the episode, it's one of the most emotional episodes ever on Roseanne, and I want to read it to you. Because this is how I feel at 47 years old, still to this day, at times, not every day. Some days I wake up pretty confident, pretty sure of myself. Those days, it doesn't really matter what anybody says to me. On those days, I can see the cruelest statement in the entire world and I can put my head up high and know that I'm a person of character today. But other days, I feel a little bit like this poem. To whom it concerns. To whom it concerns, Darlene's work will be late. It fell on her pancakes and stuck to her plate. To whom it concerns, my mom made me write this, and I'm just a kid, so how could I fight this? To whom it concerns, I lost my assignment. Maybe I'll get lucky, solitary confinement. To whom it concerns, Darlene's great with the ball, but boys don't watch tomboys when they're cruising the hall. To whom it concerns, I just turned 13, too short to be quarterback, too plain to be queen. To whom it concerns, I am not made of steel. When I get blindsided, my pain is quite real. I don't mean to squawk, but it really burns. I just thought I'd mention it. To whom it concerns. By Darlene Connor. To all of you out there that experience any kind of pain or any kind of hurt at the result of somebody else, I think that we can all get through that together and just be a little bit kinder. And that was one of the things that I loved about Jaclyn's video. I wish Jaclyn the best. I can't wait till she starts posting regularly on YouTube. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.